The ayes have it. Vote is unanimous. The employee suspension without pay, as previously stated in 9.1, has been approved. 9.2, administrative appointment. Dr. Long.
The administration recommends the appointment of Ingrid Ferguson to the position of Executive Director of Schools. The administration so recommends.
You've heard the recommendation of the administration. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move for approval.
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Devine and second by Commissioner Myers. We'll open the floor for any questions or comments. Commissioner Lomanak.
Thank you, Chairwoman Harris. How many, is this a position that's just posted like any other position and open for anyone to apply to?
It was.
And do you have to work in the district to apply for this position or no?
No.
Okay. Do you know how many people applied?
No.
And do you know how many people were interviewed?
There were 5 people interviewed.
And is this similar to the other director position hires where you've got the same panel interviews, all of them?
I didn't hear you.
Is this similar to the other administrative hires where you have the same panel interviews each of the candidates?
Yes.
And I assume there's a rating scale and notes and all of that?
Yes.
And when we've got someone from within the district apply for a job like this, do we talk to the people that they work with now? For example, if a principal's applying, do we talk to the teachers at that school?
Not necessarily.
Is there any way to get feedback from teachers about a principal who applies for a promotion in the district?
Not really.
That's all I have. Thanks.
Okay, are there any other questions? Commissioner King?
I have several questions. So, in this selection, can you, since we only got provided with a resume, of course, this person has been in district for a while, but what factors were considered to make a selection?
Is that a question or a statement?
Yeah.
Okay, Dr.
What
Long?
factors were considered to make a selection?
Leadership skills and ability.
Sorry, say that. Leadership skills and
And ability.
okay. And how much, given especially since this was an internal candidate, how much did data and student achievement results weigh into the decision?
To Dr. Long's point in terms of leadership and skill, what is looked at in this position, and that's out there in the job description and those types of things, is those abilities, if you will, to lead, to coach, to mentor, deal with systems, processes, and the like. That's the key. You know, in this role, as somewhat as has been stated this evening, working with colleagues that are on that team, working with principals, and again in terms of mentoring, coaching, supervising, dealing with issues, concerns, bridging whether they're parent concerns, whether they're community issues, and so forth. So all of those things relative to this position are examined, are looked at, and then as individuals, and just as you have stated, and been in the district, certainly we've been able to see such activity in action, through work, through interaction, and that's what the job entails.
Dr. Witherspoon, would you say that if somebody, that the track record, somebody since a primary mission and goal is student achievement, when
Well, that certainly is our primary goal.
so,
But again, if those systems, and I mentioned systems and processes, are there, working with various departments to move student achievement, school climate, culture, those types of things. It's more than one thing.
Okay, well, yes, definitely. It's more than one thing. So, putting aside that not everything boils down to a test score, I mean, we all agree on that. That still doesn't make it not important, right? Test scores and student achievements as we get them recorded every year at testing time. So, when you have, and I'm looking at the school where this person has been for 5 years, so when you have 90% of students not meeting standards, I'm sorry, 94% of students not meeting standards in math, and 82% of students not meeting standards in ELA, who would you look then to address that?
We all address that. I'll go back to the 18-19 school year when 100% of our middle schools, including this particular middle school, met or exceeded state growth averages, state growth average in English language arts, and 76% of our middle schools met or exceeded growth goals in math. So again, as we talk about in this district, and as well as across the state, I don't think we should hold, if we move students from here to here, but everybody's not here, we ought to still consider that progress. And can we make progress? Have we demonstrated that we can make progress in this district? Have we demonstrated we can make progress in individual schools and grade levels, and looking at students and what systems, processes, what do we put in place to move? Again, that's what this is about.
Dr. Witherspoon, that particular school for 5 years has been consistently at least 20 points behind the district average. And so when you promote somebody who essentially, my understanding of the position is this is a person who will be advising principals on how to do things, yet has a track record that is less than stellar in student achievement. Do you really think that that is a good move from a morale standpoint and promotions in general?
Ms. King, is a good move, again, at those things that I've stated in terms of demonstrated ability and what has happened around those areas that I mentioned.
Okay, well, I'll just repeat this one last time. 94% of students did not meet standards, which means that's only 6% met the standards in math, and for ELA it was only like 18%. That's the record. That's what speaks to me.
And again, I will repeat the growth that we've experienced across middle schools and those systems and processes that we have in place.
Okay. Are there any other questions or comments from anyone? Commissioner Lobanak.
Thank you, Chairwoman Harris. I want to make it clear, I don't know who this person is and have no information other than the CV that's been provided. And so my vote won't have anything to do with this person, but I am struck that we say that we are determining this in part based on leadership, and we do not speak to the people they are leading. Teachers seem to have absolutely no voice when it comes to evaluating our principals. And I hear that time and time again, and I heard it today. And so I think that we need to do better at coming up with systems and processes that include teacher voices when we are promoting the people that are leading them. I think we've got to do better than that. Dr. Long, I do want to know, did this person receive the highest rating from the interview panel?
Yes.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Madam Chair.
Dr. Witherspoon.
If I might, in terms of teacher voice, and I will say this again, as I've said before, any and every teacher in this district has the ability to reach out, to express concerns, voice, all along during, and not just during this particular process, but all along. We visit schools, we talk to teachers. They give us input pretty much on every aspect of what we do, from teaching and learning to if there's a new curriculum, if there's something that we're taking a look at. Every shop has some type of advisory where they seek input, feedback, whether that's the calendar, whether that's again from some tools and processes around balanced literacy, which we will share more about at the retreat, and the like. So I don't want to misconstrue that teachers are not listened to in any regard. Whether it's okay, do we for this type of position or what have you, but do teachers or anybody for that matter, custodian, bus driver, or anyone associated with a building, I don't want anyone feeling like they do not have a voice, because they absolutely do.
Then Dr. Wisdom?
Yes.
Okay, any other questions? Board Commissioner Devine?
No questions, but just a comment. Again, this goes back to when we hired in the previous director role. We have to respect the judgment of the administration. We've done that for the time I've been on this board. We should continue to do that. That's part of board training that we receive from SCSBA. It's part of what we do as school board members. No one position is more important than the other. They all work together to make this a better organization. So I would encourage us to continue to keep that in the forefront of what we do. We hold our superintendent accountable. Now, if we want to change some of his goals, some things that we want to hold him accountable for, then we need to do that as a board, not as individuals. And so I'm glad that he spoke to how staff can speak out and speak up about certain things that happen within the district. I know that those things do happen and have happened. And I look forward to those remarks by the teachers when they make those remarks. And sometimes teachers email us, or staff email us in general about things that have happened. I know Miss Chairwoman Harris has met with bus drivers, and bus drivers that came to her and told her about various issues that have happened within the district. And again, this is a value judgment of this administration. I am more than confident that the administration would not bring us a choice of someone who is not qualified and who is not ready to lead on day one. So with that said, Madam Chair, I give my time back. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Devine. Any other questions or comments? Commissioner King?
I don't recall anywhere in SCSBA training where board members have to rubber stamp, and this is rubber stamping. This is a vote. And before a vote comes a discussion. And if it is absolutely every board member's role to ask questions. These are hard questions. They're valid questions. They may be embarrassing questions, but as far as I know, sometimes it's embarrassing to do some things, but we still have to do them. They're uncomfortable, but that's the space in which we're supposed to operate at the highest level. If you don't want to question the administration, I respect that, but I will question, because we ask for a vote. I do not rubber stamp, just like Mr. Lominac said before. We have every right, we in fact have the duty to ask questions. And my questions were extremely valid, because our role is to make sure that we move our students not just by a 3-month growth or 15 days growth. Growth has to be very clearly defined. And when I look at the performance, it's just not there. And it really creates an HR problem, a morale problem. That's the way I view it. We value diversity. Please respect my view on it, but certainly those are all valid questions. They're not personal. We're having a discussion at the professional level with a track record, with data. So thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Commissioner Devine?
Let me state for the record again, I don't rubber stamp anything from this administration. I do ask questions. I mean, I ask them in public. So I just want to put that on the record that no one on this board, well, I can't say that. Let me speak for me. I don't rubber stamp anything from this administration. Just because I don't ask a question does not mean I don't trust the judgment of this administration. Thank you, Chairwoman Harris.
Thank you, Commissioner Devine. Commissioner King.
Well, I'd like to, and this is not necessarily germane to this, but because I heard that Ms. Harris met with bus drivers, so let's put on the record, can any board member have actually staff meetings with staff and it's okay? Because that's what I hear. Can staff
Ms.
come
King,
to us and ask us
Ms.
questions?
King, first of all, your statement is not germane to the subject at hand, but I will address it because you know me. I have no problem with responding.
Oh, I know.
I'm letting you all get all of your conversations out because this individual that you all are chopping up tonight, I've had the opportunity to watch this individual, Commissioner Bishop, for 5 years. I watched when this individual, Commissioner Devine, walked into a school that was struggling. We can sit here and talk about what the data says because that's all we think about. But let me tell you something. Success is not always a test score. Sometimes it's retention of children in their school. Sometimes it's children that's not coming to school, Commissioner Myers, being motivated and encouraged to show up. Sometimes it's making sure they got food to eat. I want to make sure y'all hear me. Sometimes it's making sure they got food to eat. When I see growth, like I've seen it, we got 2 years of COVID, had some setbacks. I saw improvement. I saw leadership. I saw somebody take a staff that was somewhat torn down and build them up. Let me take it a step further. I see a community of parents that believed in that leader, that believes in the leader, Commissioner Clyburn, and supports that leader. We sit here and we want to dissect how HR does their job. That's micromanaging. That's not your role. We're not in a courtroom. So if you want to practice law, you need to choose another profession because that's not the role of board members. The role of the board is when the superintendent comes to us, it's a recommendation. And Ms. King, to your point, you are absolutely correct because truth be told, I wasn't even going to say anything. But I have to say something because sometimes we're talking about people's character and we don't realize what we're saying. You're looking at the data. Did you spend any time in the 4 walls? Did you see where the school was and where it is now? I think you got a board member that's a parent there. Growth in their child.
I have.
Motivation in their child. I mean, I could talk all day. We need to be real careful that when we don't like a decision or a recommendation, we try to pull it to pieces. Dr. Long came to us and said it's the recommendation of the administration to appoint this individual. Okay? Your power is this. Vote it up or vote it down. Not sit here and, oh, they did this. I was there. I saw. So when you talk about a person's performance and what they didn't do, I have to differ because I'm in that community and I see. And scores, maybe whatever. I'm going to do fact checking. But I saw growth. Commissioner Devine, I saw growth. We grow kids. We need to get off this platform sometime we own in this magic world, that bubble, that everything is a certain way all the time. Let me tell you about societal ills and the impact they put on a community. It hurts them. I saw growth. I still see growth. I hear it from the parents. I hear parents upset, don't want to lose the person, Dr. Witherspoon. I've heard that. Doesn't sound like a person not about kids. Sounds like a champion. See, that's where we sometimes go wrong. If it ain't the way we want it to look, it's wrong. If it don't feel and taste like what I want it to feel and taste like, it's wrong. No. There have been plenty of recommendations come before this board. And I believe I've supported all of them. And I don't regret my decision. You know why, Commissioner Devine? Because I trust Dr. Witherspoon and Dr. Long to do their job. Bring us your best candidate to fit the mold of this position. To fit the mold of this position. And as you said, it's our responsibility to hold him accountable to it. Commissioner Bishop.
Chairwoman, I just wanted to ask a question about leadership. When we look at this district, and you said fit the mold, this district has done a great job transforming lives through the power of education. And it is in our data points of graduation rates, so forth and so on. But let me just try to stay as germane to what we're discussing. This particular candidate for hire, can anyone tell me what was the poverty index of that school that she was at?
That's right.
Would you just say 4 out of 5 students?
Commissioner Bishop, let us get that so you don't have that right.
I think it's like 83.7, 4 out of 5 students.
Wow.
And is that close to the poverty rate of our district?
That is correct.
4 out of 5 students?
Yes.
So we think about leadership. We're talking about someone who can understand the story of this district. And if anyone is going to be in a position of that level of influence, we want people to understand not just leadership, but transformational leadership. The problem that we can have at the campus level or the school level is that the transformational leader is just at a school. But if they go to a level where there are transformational leaders making more transformational leaders, then the district becomes transformational. And that's our statement. We are a leader at transforming lives through power education. So thank you, Madam Chair, for allowing me just to give that narrative.